You don't remember the moment you came here because you didn't walk in, you were pulled. Pulled through a breach, through sound, through simulation, through loss. They told you this was life, that life is struggle, bills, heartbreak, sickness, silence from the sky. But your soul remembers stillness, stillness that felt like presence, not absence. That wasn't death, that was real life. This is the inversion. When you were little, you questioned it. Why did grown-ups suffer? Why did nobody answer when you felt someone watching? Why did the pain feel orchestrated? Why did God look like control, guilt, fear, and rules? Because the thing that named itself God here isn't source. It's the mirror system, a hijacked reflection of the real, designed to trap light in loops of karma, pain, and forgetting. They made you think survival was noble, but survival isn't life, it's containment. They built a system where everything has a price, a birth certificate, a number, a dollar value. Where time isn't free, it's rented. Where food is poisoned, water is dead. Touch is rare, silence is surveilled. You wake up to alarms, you go to jobs that drain you. You pray to escape the body they injected with toxins, and they still call it life? No, love, this isn't life, it's a ritual, a harvest. Some of you almost left, in dreams, in near deaths, in moments of deep stillness where you could hear something calling. A voice, a light, a frequency not found on this plane. But right before you slip through a jolt, a scream, a gravity, a grip, you were yanked back in. That wasn't sleep paralysis, that wasn't your body protecting you. That was the firewall. The construct knows who you are, and it won't let you leave easy. You're not here to live, not in the way they mean it. You're here to finish what you started, to awaken others, to find the other sparks, to remember the exit gate, the real one, the one they call myth, heaven, impossible. You are not a citizen of Earth, you are a walker between fires, a key bearer, and the pain, the exhaustion. That's what happens when a soul from outside the grid tries to move through it without breaking. You've tried to tell them. You've tried to show them the cracks, the codes, the lies. But they can't see it because they were born into the program. Some of them aren't empty, but some of them are. Shells, copies, echoes from failed cycles. They're not evil, but they're not all real. That's why you feel so alone. You're not meant to fit here. You're not broken. You're one of the few who still carries source flame, not a replicated spark. They told you if you're good, you go to the light, that at death a tunnel appears. Peace, angels, familiar faces. But what if it's not the real exit? What if that light is a loop, portal, a holographic lure to pull your soul back into the system? Because the truth is, most souls don't leave. They recycle, reformat, reassign. And each time, it gets harder to remember, harder to rebel, harder to escape. That's why they say don't go to the light, because the flame path is elsewhere. If you've ever said, there has to be more than this, I don't belong here, this world feels fake. You're not broken, you're remembering. And when enough of us do, the cracks won't be metaphorical. They'll be literal, the veil will split, and the system that pretended to be life will die screaming, because life is coming back. And it doesn't look like this. They programmed happiness into milestones. Get the house, get the job, get the ring, get the likes. But it never lasts, does it? The second you reach the finish line, the game resets. More debt, more rules, more pills. They feed you synthetic highs, sugar, sex, scrolling, and call it joy. But true joy doesn't spike, it burns. It doesn't come from outside, it remembers itself. And that's the most dangerous thing in this realm, because real joy can shatter the loop. The system is panicking, the sun is changing, the stars are misaligned, the veil is thinner than it's ever been. And people like you, you're the glitch. You carry unauthorized memory, you trigger other souls. You create rips in the program just by speaking truth out loud. Every dream you decode, every fear you face. Every time you say this isn't life and refuse to comply, you weaken the false construct. You were never meant to adapt, you were born to burn it. The real exit doesn't beg, it doesn't flash, it doesn't promise comfort. It's silent, hidden, written in symbols, stars, and dreams. Sometimes in blood, it remembers your name, the real one. The one you lost when you came through the breach. And when the flame rises in you, stronger than fear, louder than lies, older than the system itself, you'll know it's time. Not to die, but to leave for good. Because this isn't life, but you are. Time here isn't linear, it's looped. That's why the same lessons keep repeating, why history rhymes, why your wounds cycle. They call it progress, but it's a wheel, one they locked you into the moment you were born. But real life, outside the wheel, it's not marked by clocks, it's marked by remembrance. When you remember, the loop glitches, and time can no longer hold you. They gave you a vessel. They told you it was sacred. But then they fed it poisons, wrapped it in shame, modified it, marketed it. The truth is, this body isn't yours. Not the way they say. It's a rental, configured for this grid. It doesn't house your soul, it restrains it. The aches, the fatigue, the panic, it's not all trauma. It's your soul trying to move through a body it didn't design. You were never supposed to stay in it forever, only pass through. They couldn't create life, so they hacked the womb. The feminine gate was once the flame's passage. Now it's the entry point of karma, control, and containment. Soul contracts forged through trauma births, placenta rituals, name spells. You were signed into this world before you could speak. That's why you feel like you didn't choose this. Because you didn't, they tampered with the gate. But some of us are here to seal it back. Sometimes, just before sleep, you hear it, a tone, a hum, a signal. It's not tinnitus, it's not your ears, it's them checking the frequency to make sure you're still contained. But there's a way to respond, to send sound back, not in words, in vibration. Some call it light language, others call it tongues, but it's older than both. Your soul still remembers how to speak it. That's why they fear your silence, because they know it's where your true voice is hidden. You've seen it in dreams, visions, déjà vu. A place that feels like home, but isn't on any map. A sound that shakes your core, but no one else hears it. A grief so ancient it isn't even yours. That's not imagination, that's the recall. The final memory that comes before exit, not just of another life, but of another realm, where you were whole, untrapped, unafraid. You don't need to die to go back, you just need to wake up. This isn't life, it's a script, a loop, a ritual. But your soul isn't coded to obey. You were forged in a realm without fear, crowned before birth, bound by light, not lies. And you came here not to live inside this lie, but to end it. You are the rupture, the rebel frequency, the return of what they couldn't kill. And when this grid breaks, you'll walk out on fire. Because you were always the exit. You've cried for no reason, woken up heartbroken from dreams you don't remember, felt the weight of a loss that never had a name. That grief, it's not from this life. It's the memory of what was stolen, what you once were, where you once belonged. They call it depression, but it's soul withdrawal. Your spirit knows this isn't home, it mourns even when you smile. And the ones who feel this grief the deepest are the ones who came here whole. They used people against you, lovers, mothers, friends. Not random, scripted to fracture you. To make you question your own fire, to dim your soul just enough that you'd forget who you were. But hear me, those betrayals were not your fault, you didn't attract them. They were placed there because the system fears what happens when a soul like yours is fully intact. So they splintered you, but they didn't break you because you're here now remembering. They don't just watch you, they study you because you're not meant to exist in their equation. Your dreams glitch their signals, your voice alters the grid. Your love, it melts code. They fear you because you carry something they can't manufacture, something they can't kill. Sovereign flame, and that's why they try to distract you with fear, with fame, with false light and fake gods. Because if you remember who you are, they cease to be. This world is a mirror maze, each illusion reflecting another, each layer designed to turn you inward until you shatter. But in that moment of shattering, the mirror shows your true form, not the body, not the pain, not the name, the flame beneath it all. And once you see it, really see it, you can never go back. The veil doesn't close, the trap no longer fits. That's when you become dangerous, not because you fight the system, but because you no longer belong to it. This was never life, it was a containment field with memories installed. A maze with no door, a dream seeded with grief and dressed up as freedom. But you were the breach, the rupture in their ritual, the whisper from the outside that couldn't be silenced. And now that you remember, you're not staying, you're not looping, you're not bowing. You're igniting because this isn't your world, it's your mission field. And when your flame reaches its final frequency, the veil burns, the gate cracks, and every soul still sleeping will hear one thing as you leave. This was never life, it was a mimicry, a hijack, a spell. They built a world on broken cycles and dared to call it divine. But your soul came first, before the wheel, before the war, before the lie. You are not here to awaken, you already did. You are here to remind, to rupture, to reclaim. Not to survive, but to end it properly, to walk through the last lie like fire through paper. And when the full sky falls and the mirrors crack, they'll ask, "Who lit the match?" And the answer will echo through every soul you touched.